Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to a brand new TW9 video. You join us on the road to Dynasty. This is the go home show week, so we will have our usual 4 shows, and then your next episode will be the pay-per-view. So hopefully over the course of these next 30 or 40 odd minutes, depending how long it goes, I don't know, we'll see how much we can build up to it. So sit back, relax and enjoy as we dive straight into the action. So I decided here to start off with a Darby Allin promo, because I feel like we've not really heard much from him over the past 2 weeks, but of course we could use the death of Sting as that reasoning. It basically says here, for the last 11 days I've locked myself in the room, I've been the shell of myself, but I've also done a lot of thinking. This is my first war in a post-Sting world, and I'm going to take every lesson that I learned from his teachings with me. I'm going to take every ounce of energy, every ounce of belief he gave me, and I'm going to take it to this cage match with Hangman. This is going to be brutal, this is going to be dangerous, but I'm going to do this for the stinger. 65, can this be the final chapter of Darby Allin versus Hangman? We start off with a match in the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix, Group C. It was about to have some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as the champion Mariah May defeated Deonna Purrazzo in 9:39 with a reverse bulldog. Some pretty impressive stuff here, 66, 53 and 65, both ladies with 66 performance. But it leads us for Deonna to announce this news. She says she was unlucky to lose, but she says to Renee Paquette, who makes her way to the ring so people know something's up, that she does only 3 more matches at this moment in time in AEW, and those are going to be her last tournament matches because she's pregnant, which means after 30 days she's going to go on maternity leave, which means she will no longer be able to compete for us for a good period of time. So hopefully we'll get our tournament matches done, and then we'll let her venture off. So she's going to join Ruby Soho, Julia Hart, and Penelope Ford. So that's 4 of my roster pregnant at this point in time. So good job, we've got a very stacked women's division. But nice news, regardless. Next up was a decent whale brawl in the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix Group D. Chris Statlander defeated Arisa Nakajima in 10:02 with the Big Bang Theory. This one was a 56, 42 and 63. I feel these two would have been really good. The brawl suits Stat, obviously. I feel Nakajima's obviously a technician, so you maybe get a bit of styles clash here. So you'd maybe see this in the 67, 68 if you didn't have that. But most importantly, 3 points for Chris Statlander. Then a little promo for the AEW World Championship. This Sunday, Christian Cage says, I'm going to end a fairy tale. This is a world that you fans, you all think that Orange Cassidy is going to be world champion and we're all going to live happily ever after. Wrong. If you watch how I conduct my business, you'll see why I'm a multi-time world champion. I've held many other singles championships and tag team championships around the world. I'm a former TNT champion, a former trios champion in AEW. Twice, may I add. This guy's never been the top of the mountain. He's never carried a company on his back. He won the international championship. Cool. Has he won a world championship? No, just look at him. He never will. Just remember, after this Sunday, I will remain your world champion. Then, now and forever. So a 68 there, storyline advances, gain seat, Christian Cage, Orange Cassidy, AEW World Championship this Sunday. Move on to the Super Shine Grand Prix, Group B, and about had a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling as Anna Jay defeated Maki Ito in 6:45 with a scissors kick. Sadly just the storytelling match because of the standard matches on the show, so it did hamper it a little bit. A 46 overall. Anna G only with 30, it's not fantastic. We want to try and get her a little bit higher, but it is what it is, and hopefully we can get better from her in the future because this is all about her development. Then I had a little segment here with Chris Jericho. He's hyping up the trios matchup for this weekend. He says obviously what went down, the likes of FTR and Mark Briscoe will pay for that, and they're going to take the trios championships away from them. But first he's got to right a wrong, and that's obviously the defeat a few weeks ago in Collision to Nick Wayne, and he says he wants the rematch with Nick Wayne. He's going to get the victory over him on Collision and set him up for that pay-per-view. So a 64 there for a rematch between Jericho and Nick Wayne on Collision. Next up and about, they had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Hikaru Shida defeated Fujimoto in 10:13 with the Tamashi. This one was designed to make them steal the show. I thought they would click quite well. For a Group A match, it was very good, 65 and 70 for the ring performances, and the wrestling brought a 68. Obviously, it covers the lack of overness that Fujimoto has and puts Shida as a very dangerous threat in this group at the moment. Next up, we have a hype package for Daniel Garcia ahead of Sunday's TNT Championship match. It just basically shows him in the gym, he's working out, he's training, he's sweating, he's facing some of obviously the trainees at the school he's at, and he's just basically looking like $1,000,000. He just turns around to the camera and says, "This is what I do, this is how I become the best that I can be, and this Sunday I will beat MJF. In fact, no I won't, I will break him." So just that wee last hype package, hyping up Garcia before we have Garcia MJF this Sunday. 56. Then at the bout, they had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Swerve Strickland defeated Commander in 9:56 with a Swerve Stomp even. Designed to steal the show. I just feel like you're going to do that with Swerve. You're always going to get a great performance out of him. An 89 to Commander's 59. And obviously I believe because it was only 10 minutes or just under, it was capped at 80. But fantastic stuff, does the job. Obviously with our product, you need to go over 20 minutes to get a certain score. And you can't do a steal the show match for that, I'm sure. I think it's still 15 minutes. But yeah, positive momentum heading in to the pay-per-view. Whose House plays, or Swerve Tower Drive plays. And yeah, Swerve does his pose. But then we have Will Ospreay's elevated music hits. He runs to the ring and we have a massive brawl. Both guys are just swinging for each other. Both are going at it before security then tears them apart. So obviously hyping up, we are going to see Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay for the #1 contendership for the AEW World Championship in a ladder match. So we're going to have a ladder match, we're going to have a cage match. It is looking up to be a decent Sunday at the wrestling. So 66, storyline advances with the segment. Then moved along to an extremely short match. Tony Storm defeats Gazelle Shaw in 3:36 with a strong 0. 3 simple points for Tony. 57 wrestling, 61 segment, 71 performance from Timeless Tony Storm. Good stuff. We have a little word though from Timeless Tony Storm, and she says this Sunday night is Dynasty, and with this tournament I believe it is my dynasty to become the winner of the Super Shine Grand Prix and to once again become your AEW World Champion. A true crowning moment, a great sequel if you will. So I'm calling out a big hitter for Sunday. Shida, let's go to war again. So I felt like we needed a big matchup on the pay-per-view. And of course, big implications, not just for these two women, but also for Mercedes Moné. So a 70 for that one, and we will see Tony Storm Hikaru Shida this Sunday in a Group A match. Not bad. We then had Jay White join the announce desk for our main event. Adam Cole is sitting in the executive box alongside Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. Brian's storyline advances a segment of 80, so we may actually get pop with this show just purely on those two taking seats. And the main event delivers. It was a trios match, and it was about to have some great wrestling and good heat as the Death Riders, John Moxley, Pac and Claudio Castagnoli defeat Bryan Danielson, Sami Zayn and Wheeler Yuta in 21:06 when Castagnoli pinned Yuta with the neutralizer. So again, Yuta looks to be the weak link here. Great performances in there from Mox, Pac as well, and from Bryan Danielson. But yeah, big win for them, and an 84 means we're probably gaining pop here, which is ideal. Finished the show at 81, 52 regions gained popularity. For, let's be honest, it was a pretty average show and then just picked up near the end. And that's the kind of ratings we need to be hitting. But we basically set up a lot of stuff, the Fatal 4-Way. This Sunday we also know it's going to be Claudio Castagnoli against Sami Zayn, Tony Storm against Hikaru Shida, Ospreay and Swerve in a ladder match, Daniel Garcia versus MJF, Chris Jericho alongside Ricky Starks and Wardlow versus FTR and Mark Briscoe for the Trios Championship. World Championship on the line as Christian will battle Orange Cassidy, and that doesn't include the likes of Kenny Omega versus Bobby Lashley for the Continental Championship, and probably some other stuff that I've forgotten about, and I'll have to remind myself over the course of the rest of the video. So that was Dynamite. Well, we looked to see if anything happened before Collision with locker room incidents. It didn't. So I'm going to book Rampage. We'll cover that shortly, and then we'll jump into Collision. So Rampage brought us 5 matches from the Super Shine Grand Prix. We had Thunder Rosa defeat Ryo Mizunami in a 55. We had some words from the cold-hearted handsome Devil Hook, which was a 60, which was quite impressive considering the failed angle. So that was promising. Sky Blue defeated Ty Mello, which was a 52. We had Taya Valkyrie defeat Gazelle Shaw, which was a 35. We had some words from Megan Bay and Deora Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie at 54, basically obviously hyping up the future of the stable after Deonna goes on her pregnancy leave, or maternity leave, sorry. Takuma Aroha defeated Misaruga in a 57. We had some words from Nick Wayne hyping up his matchup with Chris Jericho coming up on Collision. And in the main event, Mayu Yamashita defeated Camille, which, I was a bit worried, clash of styles, but nope, it went well. And it gave us a 68. So lots of matches in the women's tournament. We are going to kick on now with Collision, which has a lot more of them, and not too many main eventers, purely because we want to keep them fresh for tomorrow night's pay-per-view. So this is time for Collision. So we start the show with some words from Kenny Omega ahead of tomorrow's Continental Championship match with the almighty Bobby Lashley. He basically says tomorrow night, for the first time ever, we'll see Kenny versus Bobby. It's going to be two completely different athletes, but two former world champions. Kenny says, is he bigger? Yes. Is he more powerful? Yes. But I am the best bout machine, and what you will witness tomorrow night is me giving my all to retain this Continental Championship, and a bout that truly will be phenomenal. So a 72 there. I'm intrigued to see how they go, if they clash in styles or if it is a good mesh of styles, but it should be a good one. And intrigued to see how it goes. And that promo was a 72. We started off with the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix Group B, and a decent matchup saw Jamie Hayter defeat Anna Jay in 8-12 with a Falcon Arrow. Brilliant performance from Jamie there with a 72, and still a work in progress with a 43, 57 for the wrestling, and a segment total of 64. Moving along, we had a Briscoes Tag Team Cup match in Group C, as we had Private Party defeat the Guns in 908 when Quen defeated Austin Gunn with a gin and juice. I was trying to get a Grizzled Young Veterans match, but on one of his independent bookings, James Drake has an injury, so that's held us up a little. But pretty good stuff there, as I Cassidy off his game though, but still had a 64 performance. And in total it was a 63. So yeah, I feel the tag division's probably suffered by a lot of the women's matches. But as I say, that was something that will come to the fore going forward. But good stuff, nonetheless. We then had Scott D'Amore make some announcement backstage. He says tonight we're going to have a fatal 4-way main event. We are going to have Buddy Matthews take on Vikingo, take on Rey Fenix, and take on Ricochet. The winner of this matchup will go on to face the international champion Konosuke Takeshita next week on Dynamite for the championship when he's fully back from injury. Because his injury, I think, is another 2 days, so it would rule him out the pay-per-view. But it'll be fine for Dynamite. So 45, does Ricochet still have the spark storyline he fancies and gains heat? Which is worrying when it's only a 45 segment. But yeah, should be good. Put a lot of faith in it to score a good score here. But anyway, on to the Super Shine Grand Prix, Group A. And it was decent wrestling with not a lot of heat. Sky Blue with maybe what you could consider an upset victory over Takuma Aroha in 8:57 with the sliced bread. Only a 49 for Sky Blue. Aroha's got a 69, which is very, very good. But it brings us to a 66 in total. After the matchup, Sky Blue bumps into Mercedes Moné in the back, and Mercedes has a few words to say to Sky Blue. She says it's a good performance tonight, but tomorrow you really need to step up because you're going to be facing the CEO on pay-per-view in our group match. So big one there. Sky Blue, Mercedes Moné tomorrow night on Dynasty, and that was a 47. Next up, a decent wild brawl. We had Chris Statlander defeat Megan Bayne in 8:31 with the Big Bang Theory. I thought these two were in the same group, but apparently they weren't, so I've made a boo-boo there, but that's what happens when you book it in the middle of the night. So 62, 47, 63. I need to see if they've maybe faced each other before and I've read it wrong, but it's cool. I still feel like it's going to help their development anyway. And yeah, it's a good matchup, so it still makes sense. It still shows who's the powerhouse of the AEW women's division, which at this moment in time you could say is Statlander. So I'll need to have a look at my tournaments after Shockwave to see where I've messed up. Back to the Tag Team Cup. A decent matchup saw MXM Collection defeat Angelo Parker and Matt Menard in 7:57 when Mason Madden pinned Angelo Parker. Basically 2.0 just kind of kicking about. Menard serves more of a purpose than Angelo Parker at this time because you can tie Daddy Magic in with Daniel Garcia a lot more. MXM collection, I can see what we do with them, but 58, and we'll see if any of them benefit from this tournament. We then see Mariah May enter the office of the women's authority figure Jessie McKay. She basically goes up to Jessie and says, tomorrow is the pay-per-view, then why is your women's champion not in the show, but other women's wrestlers are? I'm the best in this division, I'm the champion, I'm a truly beautiful star. I think you should start showing me the respect I deserve. Jessie, obviously now a very serious character, says, you know what, you're right. I should let my brightest star shine bright and give her the toughest test that I know that she can thrive in. So tomorrow night, I'm going to give you a tournament matchup against Masha Slamovich. Mariah then starts screaming, freaking out, going no, no, no before she runs from the locker room. So obviously she wanted a matchup, which was an easier matchup than Masha Slamovich, has been really impressive for us. So yeah, looking forward to that one. So you're going to get Mercedes Moné, Sky Blue, Mariah May, Masha Slamovich. Pretty good on pay-per-view, and that was a 66. On to the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix Group D. We had a decent reaction from this one. Subpar wrestling though. We had Britt Baker defeat Max the Impaler by countout in 9:30. I made it storytelling. I made kind of Dr. Britt Baker kind of play like a kind of timid character here, basically being chased around by Max the Impaler before eventually getting a count of victory, outsmarting her effectively. No, that dumb babyface role. But overall, 49, not great. Britt still is in an extremely poor form, which seems to be taking quite a bit to get them out of, so I'm intrigued how long that does take, but we'll work with her. We then have words with Chris Jericho. You've just witnessed Britt Baker win and take a step closer to winning the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix. Now get ready for the best in the world at what I do. Show you how good I am. I'm going to dismantle this child Nick Wayne before tomorrow night alongside Wardlow and Ricky Starks. We're going to take apart FTR and Mark Briscoe, and we're going to win the Trios Championship to add to the many accolades I have in my storied career. Which of course puts me on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. So a really arrogant promo from Jericho. He says he's going to dismantle Nick Wayne, and then tomorrow the three of them are going to take on Wheeler, Harwood and Briscoe and take up the Trios Championships as well. So that segment was a 79, so that's going to save us. If we can get a really strong main event, then we might be in a very good place here. We had a decent matchup though. Nick Wayne gets another shot victory over Chris Jericho in 9:25 with the fast roll-up. 58 wrestling, 53 crowd, 59 segment. I still need to get Shayna Wayne off as his manager, or just turn her babyface. I'm intrigued where I'm going with Nick Wayne. I have like a kind of an idea, but we'll see where I go with it. Jericho's still in extremely poor form, but it's one of those ones we kind of shoehorned in again, just making use of the promises. If Jericho's happy to put Nick Wayne over, then absolutely we're going to make use of it, and as I say, strap the rocket to Nick Wayne and put him over. So that was a way to weasel that in. I get a cheap victory for Nick Wayne. We have some words with Sami Zayn alongside Renee Paquette. Renee says, Sami, it's been a minute since you arrived in AEW, but how are you finding it? He says, well, Renee, first it's good to see you again. But yeah, it's been quite the roller coaster. There's been a lot of familiar friends, a lot of familiar foes, and that leads me to tomorrow night. Claudio, we go way back, and I know how talented you are. You're a former Ring of Honor World Champion, a former AEW World Champion, but as they say, this is faction warfare, and I have to ensure me and Brian both pick up wins tomorrow night. We then cut to another area backstage where we see Wheeler Yuta looking at Mona, and he looks disgusted, probably because he's not been mentioned. So, nice wee two-part segment there, tying out that wee bit of friction between Yuta and Sami Zayn, and of course build up to tomorrow's matchup, Sami versus Claudio. I'll try and go over as much of the card in full at the end of Shockwave, as much as I can remember before I end up shoehorning stuff in. But 67 anyway. And the main event had some great wrestling, a decent reaction from the crowd. I did make it steal the show because I only gave it 15 minutes, which was obviously going to restrict it. But Ricochet defeats Vikingo, Phoenix and Buddy Matthews in 15:07 when he pinned Buddy Matthews with a 6:30 splash. Buddy was weak link here, only a 55 because he was off his game. Good performances though, a 78, a 75, 85 from Rey Fenix, but we've already had him versus Kinosuke Takeshita before. The 77 overall with 73 wrestling. Crowd not so much into it, but it protects everyone ahead of tomorrow night. The show itself, 74, that's fair. We had two good promos, one good match. Rest was a bit mid, but again, I need to kind of rapidly up in cotton wool before Dynasty. So 1 region gain. We'll quickly look to see if there's any incidents before Shockwave. Absolutely nothing. I'll go book Shockwave, and we'll see how it goes down. So now moving on to Shockwave. I'm going to be honest, it was one of those shows where I'm just like, I just want this done. I just want to the pay-per-view. So it's mostly matches. There's a few segments that kind of take us towards the pay-per-view, but it was basically, again, protecting everyone that's going to be in the show. So we start off the show with a Jay White promo. He's going to be talking about the likes of Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley ahead of the Fatal 4-Way main event tomorrow night. He says, so it seems week after week after week, we all hear from somebody. We hear from Bryan Danielson, we hear from Adam Cole, baby. We hear from Mox. Well, sit down and shut up and listen, because you are going to hear from the leader of the Bang Bang Gang, King Switch himself, Jay White. Remember this and remember this well. How everyone thought, oh, Bullet Club is dead, it's done. And look what it did when I revived it and when I took over New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm going to do the same here. The Bang Bang Gang will take over as a lead faction, and a win tomorrow night will get me closer to that AEW World Championship. I don't think I need anything else to that, nope. So just Jay White basically saying, oh, he's going to be a threat, look what we've done to Bullet Club, restored them. There's no reason why the Bang Bang Gang can't get involved at the highest level here, take over, and get him closer to that championship. So the promo was a 74, the storyline advances, it lost a little bit of heat, and we move on. Quite looking forward to that Fatal 4-Way though. I don't actually know who's got to win at this point. We'll see. I'll change that back so we actually big text again. So it was a Super Shine Elite Grand Prix. It was Group B, and it was a wild brawl. It had a decent reaction from the crowd at Subpar Wrestling. Camille defeats Azumi in 8-18 with the spear. A disappointing 49 here. I'm trying to get Camille back up and running. She's got chilled momentum. I do realise that probably a wild brawl is not perfect for Azumi, but it probably would have helped Camille. But we've got to protect talents that we know definitely going to be here in the long term, and that's why she gets the victory here. 49 though, her really being off her game's a bit painful. We then cut backstage and we see Orange Cassidy just walking around. He's got his hands in his pockets, and out of nowhere Killswitch attacks. He runs towards him, he tries to attack him anyway, but OC kind of like sidesteps him, and it allows Killswitch to basically go flying into a parking lot door, which is right next to him. Basically this causes Killswitch to stagger, and then OC hits him with not one, but two orange punches before he departs on the scene. So obviously he's been sent by Christian Cage to send a message before the World Championship match tomorrow night, and OC gets the upper hand in a 59 rated segment. Next up, and about had a decent reaction from the crowd about Turbo Wrestling in the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix Group B, and a Jay defeated Saraya in 8-14 with a scissors kick. Sadly only a 40, both are not particularly great at this point in time, but as I say, Anna Jay is going to be one of the long-term prospects. We hope we can really get her stats up. Saraya, I'll have a look at and see if there is something we can do, but she obviously suffers still from extremely poor form. We then move on to Group A, and it was about that had some decent wrestling, but not a lot of heat, as Takuma Aroha defeated Tamello in 9-28 by pinfall. This one was a bit unfortunate, both of them aren't particularly over in the States at this point, which obviously led to the crowd basically believing it would be pre-show workers. That hampered the rating. Seems like we saw this in the 50s. Tay's obviously not had a great time under my booking, admittedly, but there'll be something for her at one point. Obviously, Takuma Aroha, it was fantastic for him in TW 2020. And if we get her over in the States, she'll be a fantastic hand in TW9. Next up, terrible matchup. Rhino defeats Brandon Cutler in 33 seconds with a pile driver. It's meant to be the goal, or still haven't go everybody. Storytelling matchup. It was basically a matchup to show that, you know, Jack Perry has this beast that is Rhino, and he will just annihilate anyone with that spear. So, storytelling, because obviously he's just spearing them, that's about 28. Simple, maybe not so effective. We have some words from Jack Perry with, basically this one was Jack Perry cutting a promo, intimidation by Rhino. Look at this beast, go to work, go, and it's done. I believe in him, he believes in my vision, and together we're going to run wild and strike fear into others. I didn't want to say take over, because Jack Perry and Rhino is not going to take over AEW. If anyone dares to find this vision appealing, dare they step forward one day. You'll probably notice a lot of typos. I just type what I can, don't even spell check it, and then as long as what I read off, because I'll improvise, I'll add stuff to it, so it may not fully be, it's more so notes for me, and what I'm trying to explain. But basically, Jack Perry has his Rhino in his corner who just gores people, who takes care of business and makes him look threatening, but he is looking to expand. That's a 45. As I say, at the time of recording, the Scapegoat character is not particularly really took off. A lot of people don't particularly like it. I do want to go to kind of down a Raven's Flock kind of idea, like corrupting people, having people worship him. But, and obviously that's why we've had Raven have his little segments, but we'll see if it takes off. And at the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix, we have Group D, and really, you don't view Sarie as over, even though she's had some good wins. Okay, fair enough, game. But had some good wrestling and didn't have much heat. Sarie defeats Saru Anoi in 10:08 with a Sunray dropkick. Made it steal the show. Thought these two would have a banger. The fact I get a 60 and a 57 tells me if they were over in the States, we'd be pretty close to that performance as well. But good stuff. Just a shame about the overness. But that's why we've got the tournament. We had a Group D matchup where we saw Megan Bain defeat Yuka Sakazaki in 7:34 with pinfall. Just a simple, effective matchup. The fact that these two together actually gives a 64 with both of them off their game gives me encouragement that we could see good stuff. I feel sorry for Yuka. She's always like somebody that puts people over, but she's so damn talented. So hopefully the Magical Girl can maybe get a push in the future. I then got lazy, and this one was meant to do really well. So I opted here for basically like a long video vignette documenting the whole feud that we've had going and where we're heading basically with tomorrow's Fatal 4-Way. So effectively you'll have Undisputed Kingdom, you'll have Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, them coming back, aligning and being a part of this feud. Same with the former BCC, the Death Riders, the same with the Bang Bang Gang, and of course the alliance of Bryan Danielson, Sami Zayn, and you could argue Wheeler Yuta as well. I probably could have added Eddie Kingston as well, but it is just basically setting up for that Fatal 4-Way matchup, and I suppose you could argue setting up Sami and Claudio for tomorrow as well. The main event, to try and just save the day, I always have to put faith in the Lucha Bros, and to be fair, this actually done better than I thought it would. It was about to have some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as the Lucha Bros defeated the Kingdom in 14:07 when Penta pinned Mike Bennett with the assisted Fear Factor. Ray Phoenix head and shoulders above the rest. It's a Group A matchup. I'm obviously a massive fan of Ray Phoenix. Like, he's one of those wrestlers, and I don't have many in that category. Like, anytime I watch him, I'm just like constantly impressed. It's like, how can you top the last time? And then it's like even better. But as I say, the fact they carry the Kingdom to a 79 matchup is really good stuff, and it gives them 3 points in the group. And weirdly enough, we increase our pop in 35 regions. You could argue the only decent things that scored well was that Jay White's promo, which is given as a 74, and then probably Megan Bain and Yuka Sakazaki. But we still have gained popularity in 35 regions. So, despite resting a lot of people, I'd say we've done well. We've done really well. So we'll finish the show because there's a few things I want to cover. 2.6 profit. So you can see now with the network, we're just making money like nothing else. But that's good. We can start properly just investing in everything. As I say, it's not particularly meant to be overly realistic, and we're going to try and steal a Diffie WWE that I would like to sign. And the aim, of course, is to try and get all the achievements. I will note as well, Roman Reigns is not being offered a contract by WWE, but we are still too small to offer him one, so we can't bring him in. This was also a reason we couldn't get Rhea Ripley either, but she obviously was offered a contract. It might be an age thing, it might be Roman's in too much money, I don't know, but it would have been tricky trying to fit him in to the current day storylines, because there's already a few where it's like, where do you fit X, Y and Z in? But we'll have a wee look here, and as I say, we'll run through the card. So what we've got here, Noam Dar and Jey Uso have been bonding. Nia Jax and Eric Rowan are going to fight. They hate each other. I'm shocked that Tama Tonga and Finn Balor are bonding. They do get on well. We could bring William Regal back. That would be interesting. I'm genuinely tempted. I'm genuinely tempted. I really doubt we'll be able to get him to unretire. But get in better shape. No. Lose weight? Ah. Do we want William Regal back as a manager? What was his popularity? 55. Go on then. Exclusive written, what WWE offer on 36,000. To be honest, I want to be in a position with AEW where it doesn't really matter. Financially, you can offer what you want, so screw it. Let's bring them back. Let's add another layer to that feud. We've got going Mike Santana and Steve Macklin. Getting on well. Good to see. Anything else directly affects us? Oh, WrestleMania 40. How can I miss that? Let's do my news, then we'll check WrestleMania 40. So we're also trying to sign Carmelo Hayes. So I'll need to obviously up that up a little bit. We were offering 38,000. That would be a 37.9. They're offering a sign-on bonus. Screw it, buddy. It doesn't really affect us too much. So let's just get 20 grand. Top of that, put your merch up to 35. So let's see if we're a massive merch seller. Aaron Hernari signs a new contract with New Japan. News on Regal. Because I always just shortlist the Biffy WWE, New Japan, etc. Collision got at 1 point. Oh, just 1 million viewers. Shockwave 4.4 because obviously it is on our network. Chuck Taylor says Saraya talks well. So this was Saraya 32. I mean, she's still young enough. You can still certainly work with her. The skills need to improve though. Let's have a quick look at her. I want to say anything has improved. Not the way you could see with like Megan Bain and Anna Jay that stuff were improving, but I don't think anything's improved here. And she's had the same amount of matches as everybody else, so that's a bit worrying. Her popularity started at 54, so she's obviously not been great in that regard. We're going to look at WrestleMania 40, that's right. So let's see what they booked. That's a big show, no pun intended. We'll go for the main event. We'll do a couple of matches, not going to go overall. Randy Orton defeats LA Knight, Austin Theory and The Rock to retain the undisputed title. CM Punk and Gunther lost to Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens for a 96. That could be up there for match of the year so far. So it's certainly better than anything I've put on. I've almost the highest of 92. Drew McIntyre defeated Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell for the World Heavyweight Championship. Zelina Vega defeated Rhea Ripley. John Cena defeats Roman Reigns, Sheamus and Damian Priest. Jade Cargill defeats Alexa Bliss to retain the women's title. Bianca Belair defeats Bayley and Charlotte Flair. Liv Morgan defeats Tiffany Stratton. Screw it, we'll just go through it since there's hundreds of segments. Logan Paul defeats Andrade. Braun Strowman and the War Raiders defeat Omos and Awesome Truth. That's weirdly a match I could definitely see happening on Raw at one point. Kabuki Warriors defeat the Unholy Union. It's actually 4 workers I'd love to get on AEW here. And the save. And Chelsea Green and Piper Niven defeat Natalya and Tamina to retain the WWE Women's World Tag Team titles. Interesting. So I'm just going to quickly go over what I've got written down for Dynasty. I may look to add other stuff in, but we are going to go with Hangman Adam Page versus Darby Allin in a cage match. We're going to go for the AEW World Championship as champion Christian Cage defends against Orange Cassidy. The Fatal 4-Way main event sees Jon Moxley take on Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole and Jay White. MJF battles Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. The Continental Championship is on the line as Bobby Lashley challenges Kenny Omega. Sami Zayn takes on Claudio Castagnoli. Number 1 contendership for the AEW World Championship is on the line as Will Ospreay battles Swerve Strickland in a ladder match. AEW Women's World Champion has a group match as Mariah May takes on Masha Slamovich. And we also have Mercedes Moné in a group match against Sky Blue. And we will have the AEW Trios Championships on the line as Chris Jericho, Wardlow and Ricky Starks battle the team of FTR and Mark Briscoe. Could I add more? Possibly. As I say, we'll go over the tournament standings at the pay-per-view. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. It's much appreciated. Every thumbs up is deeply appreciated. We'll probably cover WrestleMania Sunday as well. And as always, check out the Fantasy Booker subreddit, Grey Dog Software Forums, twdb.com and bethebooker.net. Until next time, this is Maxwell. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.